people now living can remember such a catastrophe as the all-enveloping waters have inflicted upon a great area in the triangle whose points are the Wash, Bristol Channel, and Thames Valley. When the River Lee burst its banks, more than 1 million people in East London actually experienced a shortage of water. Surely the last straw in the long tale of distress suffered during this appalling winter. Lea Bridge Waterworks was put out of action when the floods contaminated the filter beds. In this emergency, the Metropolitan Water Board supplied householders from its mobile tanks. Perhaps for a fortnight there will be only enough for drinking and cooking. Tanks were obtained from as far afield as Yorkshire. Suburban railways in this area were brought to a standstill. Even telephone services broke down. Thousands of people who believed their houses to be well clear of the flood limit sadly discovered their mistake. Bungalow dwellers without upstairs rooms for themselves or furniture were hard hit indeed. They had to leave their homes under feet of water and get away when rescue was improvised. The great Ouse burst its banks. The plight of the Fen country was critical. The people in this area feared overwhelming disaster at every high tide. At one period, the water nearly reached the highest recorded level as far back as 1823. Great slabs of ice were washed up to the very house doors. The Paramount cameraman, Arthur Farmer, was marooned at Maidenhead. Hear his story.
Last night, I went out to look at one or two of the usual danger spots, but I never thought the water could possibly reach my house. When I woke next day, I was amazed to find 2 feet of water all round. Some of the flood water froze. The ice jammed the garage door, and my car is still there. I spent the day in waders taking pictures. The water rose all the time. My furniture is pretty well ruined. When we thought we were completely marooned, the wife and I were rescued by a Churchill tank that evening.
The sympathy of the whole country goes out to the thousands of people who face their grim, homeless plight with typical good humor. May their cruel misfortune be nearly over. No one will ever forget this terrible winter and the disastrous floods in which it closed. "60,000 rugger fans came to Twickenham to cheer on England and Scotland in the first full international since 1939. England, in white, scored with a drop goal in the first quarter of an hour, but Scotland made it very clear it was going to be a tough fight all the way. Now it's England again as Holmes nips in to intercept a Scottish pass, and nothing can stop him now as he streaks away to ground the ball between the posts. Yes, it's a grand try, and the English captain Heaton makes it a go. More attacks by Scotland kept the pace going, but before long England had once again broken through the defence. Hall kicks upfield, Guest gets the ball, and it's another clear run in for a try. Once more Heaton takes the kick, and it's an easy go. "14 points down at half-time, Scotland now had to face the wind and another lightning series of English attacks. Gallantly, the Scots went all out for a breakthrough, but it was just too bad as Henderson of England charges home for a try. Heaton adds the goal points to give England an even stronger lead. Soon after this, England took full advantage of one more big chance. Geddes, the Scottish fullback, prevents Holmes from scoring, but the ball rolls on and Bennett makes it another try while Heaton converts for the last time in the game. Time was getting short, but with the weather turning towards a blizzard, Scotland won themselves a fine blaze of glory. Munro breaks away, and Jackson dashes through to make it Scotland's only try. Geddes converts to a well-deserved goal. Final score, England 24 points, Scotland 5. And now it's the spectators' turn to rough it as the weather once again gets the last word. Young champions from London boys' clubs mixed it good and hard in the finals at the Royal Albert Hall. No, they didn't spare themselves or their opponents, and here's one of them getting rather a bad letdown in his own corner. Hard hitting was the keynote, and the way those boys threw that leather about, well, the knockout didn't come as any surprise. Guest of honor was the Duke of Gloucester, who presented the awards to a promising bunch of winners. Newly appointed ambassador to Britain, Mr. Lewis Douglas calls on President Truman at the White House to be sworn in and to receive his credentials. Joining in the good wishes is Mr. Harriman, the last ambassador to hold this top diplomatic post. Airborne troops go on parade at Aldershot for an inspection by Field Marshal Montgomery, Chief of the Imperial General Staff. Looking very fit after his holiday in Switzerland, Monty casts an approving eye over the men who brought their own unique tradition to the army of today. Setting the seal on a great day for the port of East London, Princess Elizabeth arrives to carry out her first public duty in South Africa, the opening of the newly completed graving dock. Watched by cheering crowds, the princess takes her place of honor and, undismayed by a strong and gusty wind, replies to the official greeting.
You have a tremendous heritage, a big country waiting to be developed, rich in the enterprise of its people and in its mineral and its natural resources. I now have great pleasure in declaring the Princess Elizabeth Graving Dock open.
Another charming ceremony followed as the princess received a gift of 5 magnificent diamonds from the Orange River mine. And now, with her crew manning the decks, the frigate Transvaal steams past in salute, the first ship to enter the new dock, which will add to the prosperity of a vital South African port. East London saw both princesses in holiday mood when they enjoyed a long canter on the sands at Bronzer Bay beside the calm waters of the Indian Ocean. A perfect setting which the princesses found it very hard to leave. Continuing their journey northwards, the royal family arrived at one station in a heavy but welcome downpour, and the delighted population hailed their king as the bringer of rain. This was not an official stopping place, but their majesties insisted on leaving the train when they saw the waiting crowds. And so, with every stage of their journey, the ties of affection and goodwill grow ever stronger between the king and his South African peoples. That was part of the musical welcome given to the royal family by the children of Bloemfontein, capital city of the Orange Free State. Thousands of delighted boys and girls heard their majesties praise their singing as they crowded along the royal route. Later came another ovation as the royal party drove to the city hall to receive the official address of welcome. Soon it was time for the Viking aircraft of the King's flight to convey the royal family on the next part of their journey. The Queen and Princess Elizabeth travelled in one plane, and the King was accompanied by Princess Margaret, who was making her first flight. Carrying with them the good wishes of the Orange Free State, the planes head northward towards a new and colourful chapter of the royal tour.